As with the rest of the stories here on Advent Wrath, we're going to give a brief explanation to the place that inspired tonight's terror tale. As with many other locations on this journey, I have yet again chosen a lesser known location. As to the tragedy that took place here, a van flew off the bridge when the mother, in a fit of madness, screamed about the deep sect, something only she knew of. It's possibly even a delusion. Then drove her and her 5 children off the bridge, and they all drowned in the creek below. They must have been terrified, those poor children. They slowly drowned. Onlookers described hearing them scream from beneath the water. Due to the strong current, no one could reach them. The van was pulled out nearly 10 years later, but the remains were never discovered, possibly being drugged downriver. As with other locations, this one holds a unique horror story. Legend has it that if one stops their car, they shall hear the screams below, then see a broken amalgamation of remains belonging to the victims. Mismatched and broken, the remains appear to be strung on the wrong bodies, with the mother having one of the children's heads and the children wearing the mother's skin as it peels. I sit in my car at midnight. I hear nothing, save for the eerie stillness of night and a harrowing symphony of cicadas in the distance. I walk and examine where the fan flew off the bridge. One can still see where the repairs were made, and portions, though small, of damaged bridge still remain. What horror they must have experienced. It makes one ponder if the mother had any regret once the pain and fear of death began to sink in. As for whom or what the deep sect was, I could find no other credible proof other than speculation from older residents. Some tell of a group in black that appeared around town then vanished. Others claim it to be a movement in the area gone horribly awry. No real concrete answers were found. As the night continued, I heard what sounded like gibberish echoing in the distance. It sounded like children, all talking at once. I began to write tonight's horror as I became unnerved by the musings beyond the bridge. I began to think about nightmares from my past and settled upon writing the story. It is a tale of mental horror and vivid fascination. I present to you tonight's tale of terror, The Second Born. The Second Born. Deep within the fractured chambers of my blackening mind remains an imagery of profound pain and terror. Since early childhood, I have suffered from agonizing night terrors. One in particular has haunted me for years. Each and every night, I relive its ungodly terror. Nightmares on their own are terrifying. They take a whole nother dimension when the dreamer is able to interpret their meaning. It always starts the same. I am searching for a woman I have come to love. Frantically I search, not as if she is misplaced, but as one would search for a loved one that has been abducted. A frenzied pace takes my heart as I run through the unknown streets searching for my beloved. This, as I have come to realize, is symbolic of my desire for love and the emptiness of absence. Suddenly a mansion catches my eye. It is large and white, 3 stories in height. The door swings open as I catch a glimpse of my beloved. Panicked, I charge for the door, only to be stopped by an invisible barrier. As often as this dream has haunted me, I know all too well its meaning. Just as the drags dare not mingle with the dashing, I and my love spawn from 2 separate worlds. Most of the nightmare takes place here as I struggle and push against an invisible adversary. Eventually, I enter the mansion. The inside is much smaller than the outside would suggest. Within the mansion only lies 3 rooms. A living room upon entering, a hallway, then a sharp left. A turn that leads to an empty room, with a large mirror on the wall. Rushing into the mansion, I pay no heed to this bizarre blueprint. Though the meaning, once again, isn't lost upon me. The parallels of a large, beautiful structure, housing a tiny, empty shell. This seems to describe people better than mansions. As I make my way down the hall, I take a sharp left, only to find my beloved in front of the mirror. At first, I am elated at her presence, as a sense of relief washes over me. It is soon turned to sheer terror. As she turns, I notice she is weeping as her skin turns a deathly sick pale, the same shade as a freshly vetted corpse. Her eyes are pure white and bulging from her skull as her hair slowly fades of color. This, too, is no mystery. My fear of my loved ones decaying, not in the mortal sense, but a metaphorical one. Eventually, all that I love is destined to rot. As she reaches out and lunges forward, I awaken, panicked and chilled to the bone. Malice of Eve upon the eve of malice brings light to darkness and darkness to light. One cannot exist without the other. Tales of darkness both spoken in silent pillage and salvage the wayward spirit. Parallels of beast and man in equal amounts praise and condemn the casted shadows of light. Entanglement is the essence of the human spirit unbound amid deliverance from sin. This I have heard in a voice booming from the depth of absence beyond the hollows of space and time. Ever since, I have been obsessed with the concept of duality, with the number two becoming prominent in all my thoughts. Unable to function in society, I dwell amongst the undesirable dregs. In the depths of hysteria dwells a mindless allegiance to delusion. Fear paves a path of lies to a false reality of pain and pity. Each and every night, I am plagued with more and more nightmares. One fateful evening, as I lay my head down to rest, I dreamt of vivid choirs and paradoxical realities. I stand at the bottom of a great chasm, squeezed up to the shoulders as the ground slowly begins to trickle away beneath my feet. Flesh begins to peel as I desperately crawl frenzied at the thought of falling into the pit, developing just beneath my trembling body. Contained in the unrelenting squeeze of terror, I am strangely comforted by my inability to escape. In the maddening channels of the death chasms from deep within, the depths of absence bellows a familiar voice. Second amongst the dreamers and first amongst the damned, ye shall wait in solace at the advent of the second born. Meno Mamu, finishes the voice, as unnamed horrors plunge down the chasm, impaling me with outstretched claws. Upon awakening, I lay in bed paralyzed by reckoning truth. Love and hate, life and death, praise and damnation, peace and war, prayers and curses, unsurely and fate. Duality has infested my very being to the point that I now only see the world in two parallels. Each and every person I encounter, I experience their life and foresee their death. All they love and hate becomes clear. All they praise and damn, their peace and war, their uncertainties and inevitable fate. My mind is twisted and broken due to the constant bombardment of information. The next few years would see me delve into my obsession even further, going to extreme lengths to find the source of the voice I have heard so many times. In this quest, I have learned much of my own existence and the entanglement of the number two within my life. I am the second born, 2 years apart after the death of two siblings. Duality grips me in its withered talons, making me the perfect recipient for a monstrous gift. Centuries of anguish prepare me for nigh godhood. As the centuries pass, the nightmares continue. This time, I am walking along amongst legions of bloody fare as I am forced into submission by a psychic strangulation. Out in the distance stretches a landscape of mangled humans in an orgy of panic and rage. From high above, rain drenches the area, covering it in an ocean of gore-ridden depth. Through the discus unclear water swims an unseen form, hell-bent on my demise. For what seems like a morbid delight, I am released from my strangulation, just as the waters reach my neck. Swimming for my life, fear begins to grip me. Along the sides of my body, pain rushes to my chest as my lungs begin to burn. Atrophy takes hold of every limb. With every useless motion, the waters behind me release a clapping noise as my pursuer closes the distance behind me. My body gives in to the immeasurable weight of exhaustion. Just as my pursuer would reach me, the morbid waters rise and engulf me, obscuring the pursuer's image as I am relentlessly dragged into the dark, bloody depths. Awakening to a tomb of cold dirt and withered remains, I desperately dig my way toward a tiny glimpse of light. The walls of the tomb surround me in a maddening claustrophobia. My breath slowly leaves me in a dwindling hole of terror and exhaustion. Blood drips from my fingers as I dig inch by agonizing inch. Crushing weight bends my bones as the breath of life slowly teases and taunts my dwindling spirit. Life and death both pull at my soul. My soul battles the concept of life and death. Eons of life have been bestowed upon me, yet invulnerability eludes me in this monstrous realm. Once again, I awaken in bed shivering to the bone. It would seem my immortal empowerment was nothing more than a vivid nightmare. To live forever in the meandering stare of madness and despair. That, my friend, is the true terror. Whatever monstrous power stalks me has a sick sense of purpose. Malnourishment has taken me. In these maddened few days, I have forgotten to eat. My stomach churns. As too does my heart, in the ever-constant battle of solitude. Insomnia rocks me in a decadent cradle of paranoia. Within the truth of inner love dwells the image of crimson deception. Emerges the voice once more, this time from deep inside a storm drain that lies rusted and broken outside my window. The constant struggle to stay awake is too much to bear. The night terrors reach me once more. Legions of arms subdue me in the bowels of loss as I am forced to endure the bathing of my loved one's blood. It washes over me thick and sticking to me, stinging me to the bone. Iron rushes through my mouth as the heads of my family roll about with widened eyes and torn maws, lamenting my presence. The smoldered bones of youth twist and bend, taking atop them the lamenting heads as they take the form of a four-legged beast. Just before the creature mounts me, I awaken once more jagged and beaten. Menomamu, please, I beg of you. Forget the second-born. Leave us to our own. Take from others. Release us from your enslavement. Release the bonds of the broken and bound. Alas, I shall release my own so that I may be broken of bonds and released of life. Found written on a note at the scene of Garland Von Wright's murder-suicide in Merebarn County. Date unknown. And that was tonight's terror tale, The Maddened Scribe, in writing of a maddened immortal, at his wit's end, longing for death. Join us next week with another sinister tale here at Advent Wrath.